question is, please advise the new Muslimah some advice on what books to read first.
Question says, please advise the new Muslimah on what books to read first. We say if the new Muslimah has the ability to have a friend, a sister friend, a girlfriend in Islam, a sister that can be her mentor, that can help her out and show her the way, then that's better than a book. That's better than a book. If you live in the locale of Muslims, good practicing Muslims, then it's best to have an actual sister that you can go, sit with, talk with, and ask and seek her advice before us advising books. As far as if you're far, if you're not around any Muslims, you don't have access to the Muslims, you're afraid, you're scared, whatever the case may be, then that's a different story. But first and foremost, people, they always ask what books to read as a student of knowledge, what books to read as a beginner, what books to read as a student of hadith. The first step is apprenticeship. Get someone to take you under their wing, to take you by their hand and show you firsthand. And oftentimes that's far more beneficial than a book that could be vague, that could be misleading, that could be inauthentic. Everybody understand this? Sometimes just being with someone, especially a new Muslim, company is one of the most important aspects of any Muslim, let alone a new Muslim. Company, good Islamic company. So that's the first piece of advice. As far as if you don't have someone that can be your teacher, or if you do and you still want to read books on your own free time, then that's fine. The first thing that you should do, I would advise you, is to learn the basics of your Islamic faith. And from the best of these books, not the best book, not the only book, but from the best of these books, the three fundamental principles of Islam. Al-Usul al-Thalatha wa Adillatuha. The three fundamental principles of Islam. Why? Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. A very simple, concise book that gives you the concept of what Islam is and what it isn't. Life and death, resurrection, questioning in the grave. Tawheed and Sunnah. Prayer, ibadah, what you do with your heart, with your tongue, etc. Iman, Islam, and everything that you need as a beginner. So this is one of the best and most simplest, or the most simple books for the beginner. For the beginner. And every single Muslim needs the information that's mentioned in this book. Everybody clear on this? So that's my first piece of advice. Then after that, bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you still have a desire to learn, then I would say you should try your best to learn how to read the Quran. Get someone to teach you how to read the Quran. If you can't, teach yourself. Reading the Quran leads to so many other benefits, so many acts of worship. When you learn how to read the Quran, not understanding it, the tafsir of it, but just learn how to read it. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, hopefully that will lead you to having a greater appetite for more knowledge. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Obviously, any new Muslim man or woman has to learn the basics of creed, as we said. Who is Allah? Who isn't Allah? What Allah is, what Allah isn't. The messengers, the prophets, the angels, the last day, the qadr, the grave, heaven and hell. In brief, in general. Not the detailed issues. And the basics of purification. Spiritual purification and physical purification. The basics of hijab, the basics of the salah. The simple, basic, everyday things that every Muslim needs. That's my nasiha. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best.